in a letter to Alphonse Mader, Jung makes this remark. In his letter, he enclosed a copy of the Seven Sermons of the Dead, which Jung had privately printed and had distributed to a few friends. And he says in the letter, "Allow me to give you personally the enclosed little present, a fragment with a far-reaching association. I deserve no credit for it, nor does it want or pretend to be anything. It just is, simply that. Hence I could not presume to put my name to it, but chose instead the name of one of those great minds of the early Christian era which Christianity obliterated. It fell quite unexpectedly into my lap, like a ripe fruit at a time of great stress, and has kindled a light of hope and comfort for me in my bad hours." Now, this is an amazing document, and first of all, it's beyond my capacity to discuss it in depth. Even if it were, it would take more time than is at our disposal. But I do want to make a few remarks about it anyway. We have to ask ourselves the question, how are we to understand this eruption into Jung's consciousness of a second-century Gnostic? As Jung tells us, it fell quite unexpectedly into my lap like a ripe fruit at a time of great stress, and has kindled a light of hope and comfort for me in my bad hours. He also describes the event in Memories, Dreams, Reflections, starting on page 190. And he tells us that the eruption of the Seven Sermons was preceded by a series of paranormal phenomena of impressive dimensions. And he says the experience has to be taken for what it was, or as it seems to have been. It was an unconscious constellation whose peculiar atmosphere I recognized as the numen of an archetype. But how are we to understand the presence of Basilides in the psyche of 20th century Jung? I don't know, but I have a hypothesis. I suggest that Jung had penetrated to the same psychic depth that Basilides had reached, and that this activated the resurrection body of Basilides. That is, the eternalized increment that Basilides' life had contributed to the archetypal psyche. You see, the basic theme of the Seven Sermons to the Dead is consciousness of the opposites. It all is boiled down to that. And this had been achieved by Jung, consciousness of the opposites. And that achievement then activated the deposits, the archetypal deposits, the resurrection bodies of others, historically, who had achieved the same level and had made their own personified deposits, which were now available to him as his partners and his companions at that level of experience. Because there aren't many external partners and companions at that level of experience. This then released him from his suffocating sense of isolation and brought with it clarifying concepts and images, along with what Jung calls a sense of hope and comfort, which he described in his letter. I think I see similar happenings occur on a smaller level, but nonetheless similar, in the course of certain depth analyses that I'm familiar with. The only proviso being that one must go deep enough.